Arya is a ninja. Arya is a ninja. Arya is a ninja. She's a ninja. 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 Not today. Welcome everybody to our Game of Thrones weekly episode review show. Now,
I
oh
still
yeah.
am processing what's happening, dude.
Now, this is the third episode. This was the big battle. If we had recorded this review show right after I saw the episode, I would have said that I would have been a little bit more hyped about it, a little bit more excited about it. But having a whole night in the morning to think about it, I'm 50-50 on this episode. And we'll get into
Hmm.
that. But Alex,
So,
thoughts?
as right after I watched it, I went on to, you know how a lot of people go on Twitter and just talk about it once they watched it. A lot of people are a little 50-50. Some are mad that, uh, the fight only lasted one episode, but then
Right?
these other half that are so amazed at the episode that they're somewhat speechless. Which
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, I kind of get a little of both. I did have a couple things that I wanted to talk about that I had a little issue with, but then I was also like, it kind of makes up for the two episodes that we took to just.
It did, but what it did though, it solidified my fear of the difference of writing. Because to me, I feel like if this was George R. Martin's writing, I believe we would have had a lot more deaths. And not just, I mean, because a lot of people died in this battle, for sure. But we would have had
Mhm.
more significant main character deaths. Because I feel
Yeah,
like there's a lot of people who survived this who I don't think should have even survived it, if you get what I'm saying.
if not all
Well,
haven't that shouldn't have survived.
I mean, you can't really say all because you need some of them to
Well,
forward the
not all.
story.
If only John, Arya, and Bran survived, that would have been fine with me. If Daenerys died, I would have seen it coming.
Hmm.
Like, I was kind of expecting it
But
after what we saw.
let me say this though, I will say that the directing of the episode was amazing.
It
What
was
I was
pretty
a
good.
little bit disappointed of is the writing. And so like say if we rate this 10 out of 10, I would have to average out the writing and the directing. So if I had to give it a higher score, it would come down a few points just because of the average. But yeah,
Mm.
um, yeah, like this was my fear from the beginning. But I mean, I could see where the writing is coming from. They want to forward the story, and I could see how why they ended it the way they ended it. Um, it's just that I feel like we could have gotten a lot more of what the people who's watched this show from season 1 to season 8, we could have gotten a lot of a better outcome, I'd say.
I think it would have just like, yeah, we could have had a better outcome, and also the outcome of everything probably would have been able to have been told a little better, like a little more smoothed out, not just okay, we're at the last six episodes, just throw everything in because we got to get it out, you know?
Yeah. And I agree with the people who say that this battle was a little short. I mean, not to say that the bat because like I don't know, the thing is I don't know if I could have taken, just from watching last night's episode, I don't know if I could have taken 2 episodes of that battle, because man, that battle was just like eating, like it was like. And the thing is, we just came from Avengers Endgame, and then we have
Yeah,
Game of
man.
Thrones. That's a lot of intensity in one weekend for us nerds and geeks. This is like my heart.
So
I don't know if my heart could take 2 episodes of them fighting this gigantic, almost like unwinless battle that they had. Like it was
it was
pretty.
pretty
It was pretty
gnarly.
intense.
Ha- Halfway through, when they were like upwards of using their bodies to get over the fiery trenches. Man, I looked at the time and I was like, man, we still have like an
Yeah,
hour or
yeah.
like 40
We we
minutes.
still have halfway more to go. like,
What is even gonna happen,
and
dude?
not just and not just that, but they took out the Dothrakis like
Nothing,
from get
dude.
go, like from beginning. And I'm not gonna like I don't think it was all of them because I believe I saw some of them run in to the
hmm
castle when they
There's
were
at least
retreating.
like yeah, at
Uh,
least a little bit of a squad
yeah,
left.
I want to say it was like probably 90 to 95% of the Dothrakis were just gone,
I
dunzos.
am a little disappointed with how Grey Worm was acting. I expected him to die a lot sooner.
Well, here's the thing, though. Grey Worm didn't even die. Grey Worm survived. He
No, I know. I'm
and
saying
that's
like I
and
expected it to
that's the
go
thing.
that way.
Like, there's a few people, and let's go down the list of let's go down the list of the people who survived that I think, or who survived, or let's go down the death list basically of this,
Num
and
can I
yeah,
can I start with number one?
um, go ahead.
Sam, dude.
Yep. I mean, he
What
was
the
the
fuck?
thing was, dude, he was on my number one list to die on this episode, and he survived
hmm
somehow. And not just that though, like I don't know if you remember from the last review show, I thought that Jorah was gonna survive and Sam was gonna die. They flipped it on me. They killed
hmm
off Jorah and they let Sam survive, which like to me like as much as I like the Sam character and as much as I said that I didn't want him to die, I would have accepted it if he did die because he was set up for it.
Yeah, he actually was set up for it at least three, four times.
Too many times, and
hmm
that's where the writing I felt lacked because like they foreshadowed deaths of like at least 4 or 5 characters, like so like you could foreshadow it like once and deny it later, but if you foreshadow it like 3, 4, 5 times, you're just lazy writing.
Stop blue balling us with this stuff, man. Like
And
someone.
one of them was Brienne. Also, let's go. We're just going straight down the list.
Yeah.
Brienne. There were so many times they showed her like getting dragged down. I think she got
Okay.
speared, like WWE straight up spear to the ground, and somehow survived all of that.
Oh yeah. Like seriously, at not even halfway through the episode when they already got over the wall, you saw her cornered, and then another 40 minutes
Hmm.
of them trying to win, and then when they did win, somehow she was able to push them off for that long. Like her story arc is already done. I
Well,
expected her to just be cut off.
dude, everyone who survived was doing the same thing. They were all cornered and they were all slashing away the whole time. And here's another character that I thought would have died also, but survived somehow. Podrick. Dude was
Yep.
being trained to fight. He's not a trained fighter, but yet
hmm
somehow he survived. Along with Gendry, because I foreshadowed Gendry, or
Of
I
course,
predicted
Gendry. Yeah.
Gendry to die, and Gendry survived. Like what?
I mean,
How?
you with how much they put into having him actually be seen in the first two episode, I was really surprised at how little they showed him on the third because I thought a lot of people would have been expecting
Yeah,
him to at least
but
die or fight a little more.
I'll give it to him. He was doing work with the axe. Like it was the scenes
Yeah.
that he was in was pretty awesome. It's just the writing, like it goes back to the writing, like he shouldn't have survived. But I mean, I guess in some ways, I'm kind of glad that they all survived. But because I mean, and I kind of seen this coming and kind of not, but Cersei ends up being the big bad. It's not the Night King.
hmm
And let
So,
me traverse from the death list real quick.
mhm.
One of the reasons why I'm a little disappointed also is because we built up the Night King for 7 episodes. 7
Yep.
episodes. He was this ominous, most powerful. mystical being, and to be taken out in one episode, I don't know. Like I'm just don't feel satisfied about that. And not just that, but
You know,
I was banking on that there was a bigger meaning between the war between the dead and the living, and
mhm.
you know, like it wasn't. There wasn't.
The thing that I actually expected the most was when, like, he at the beginning already of the episode showed that he was really skilled as a fighter. Uh, he
Yeah.
was he was looking at plays before they were even laid out, dude. He knew what was gonna happen. He was just
Well, they
expecting when Arya dropped the knife that he was gonna pick it up and
yeah,
stab
I
her.
kind of thought that too. I thought like he was gonna like swoop it, boom, and then Arya was gonna be dead. Um,
Hmm.
and as sad as that would have been, I would have agreed with that a little bit more than what I
Yeah.
mean, not to take away the badassness of what Arya did, because I mean that's one of the main reasons why I love Arya. Arya's the ninja, and it shows here that she is the ninja because I mean, for somehow she passed a wall full of White Walkers and white generals, and somehow no one seen her and flew through the air
Hmm.
to kill the Night King. I mean, like that's pretty badass. But yeah, but like I think it would have been more satisfying to see the Night King kill Arya, as weirdly as it sounds. I don't know.
I just, dude, like I said, I'm still kind of trying to understand exactly what was going on because it's a lot to take in,
It is.
especially since we have three more episodes, and I don't know how we're gonna get
Well,
through it.
here's the thing. I hope that the next episode is not another setup episode, which I feel like it's going to
Yeah.
be because it's going to be like it's going to be the North celebrating, and then and showing Cersei, planning out her plan and everything like that. And I don't like. I just hope it's not a full on setup episode. They better like meet in the middle somewhere.
Hmm. So, what I did notice is once they destroyed him, everybody that was turned into a White Walker essentially vanished, right? So
Yeah,
they're not even going to be able to. So all of the bodies from the crypt, all the people that they lost, all the essentially everybody is now dust.
yeah. Well, I mean, they showed you at the ending. They were already beginning to burn all of the dead,
Hmm.
just for safety reasons. Like they didn't want them coming back. I mean, even though yeah, the Night King is gone, but you never know, just for safety.
But yeah, like one of the things I was talking about before in one of our speculations, which did happen, was I was just thinking to myself, all the dead that they're gonna kill, all he has to do is snap his fingers, and now all of them are walkers too.
Yeah.
So
I mean that
I
came.
was like,
Oh, and yeah, because actually that was a point like I brought up to a lot of people I was talking to, and we really didn't bring it. We didn't get too deep into it on the last review show, but yeah, like there was a bunch of dead people already in Winterfell, and all
mhm.
he had to do was get close enough and raise his hands, and then they're all coming back to life. And of course, the people in the crypt were, you know, yeah, over with because they're in a crypt.
See,
Kind of the
here's
worst place to hide when you're fighting dead, the living dead. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I that's kind of an issue I had though because so he can essentially just bring any random person back
Yeah,
if
as long as they're dead and they weren't like as long as they were freshly dead, not freshly dead, but like not brought back and then killed again. Like as long as they were dead,
so
he could bring
so he
anything that's
could
dead back to life.
he could have done that ages ago.
No, the thing is, there has to be a proximity. He has to be somewhat close
Uh,
to these dead people.
okay, but yeah, I don't even really think getting into talking about him that much is gonna do much now that one episode and the dude's dead now. So
Yeah, but see that's the disappointment though, is because they built him up as this supernatural, badass, which they did make him pretty badass. I mean, like when he fell off his dragon, like that scene, like dude, he was just like OG falling off this dragon, like he didn't even care. And then even when he was
mhm.
like put into flames, he smiled at Danny right afterwards and was like, "Oh, that's all you got," you know? Like,
Yeah, so there was one sad thing about the directing I saw was that they made it too obvious that he was
well, no,
going
see,
to
that's not
survive.
that's not the directing. The directing is all the action and all the stuff. That's the writing. The writing
So
is what
yeah,
makes
so
it all
it's
obvious.
the writing of the TV writers. You could see already that he was gonna survive. I wasn't even worried at first because I was like, oh, he looks like he's just gonna stand there and take it.
And plus, they kind of foreshadowed that a little bit because like when they were having their war meeting, they were like, can Dragonfire kill him? And Bran was just like, I don't know. Which brings me to another thing. What the heck was Bran doing the whole time? dude,
Seriously, I was
dude was
like,
playing
he
like he was playing Crow VR or something. Just like
seriously he what did he do
what
that
was it?
took all that time with those birds that he
He
couldn't
he
have
he
done?
better be he better have been doing something, and they better bring it up on the next episode. Like he better have had a plan. Like he better contribute it somehow, because otherwise, then he's a useless character. Because that's another character
Seriously,
they built up to be kind of important. Like through the whole 7 seasons, they were like, Bran's important. Well, if he's so important, then what is he doing?
he was just chilling there, dude. Seriously, but so that the talking about the Dragonfire kind of brings one thing up that I had an issue with. There were so many strategic ways they could have used those dragons. They could have, while they were waiting for the fight to die down, brought in the dragons, started killing them line by line. They could have laid down a line of fire in front of them so they could have at least seen what was going on. Uh,
Yeah.
there could have been so many
But
things.
I mean,
But
I could see, they put it in a not a plot device, but I mean, they put in something in there so that wouldn't happen, because I had that same thought too in the beginning. But the thing was, they were supposed to stand watch and wait for the Night King to show up, and then zoom in to where Bran is, because they were trying to protect Bran, but stay far enough, but still close enough so that they could get in as quick as possible, right? But
mhm,
when right as soon as John caught eye of the Night King brought in the winter snow, the fog, and that's why they couldn't do all that, because they didn't have any sight. That's why they had to fly all the way up above the clouds to do the dragon battle.
mhm.
So like their view of sight was kind of taken away.
Okay. But so am I the only one? You kind of have to admit that I wasn't the only one that was kind of losing my shit as soon as the Red Witch came and turned all those swords into fire.
I was questionable about that, because I was like, for one thing, we haven't seen her in a long time, and
Mhm.
supposedly she I forgot who she told, but she said she had to go home to figure something out, and I'm like, and at that time I was like, well, what does she have to figure out? I mean, and I'm still wondering what she had to figure out, and maybe what she had to figure out was who really was the person that she's supposed to be there to help.
Mhm.
And from what they're telling us with this episode is that the person that she was there to help is Arya. I mean, that also relates to uh Sir, I want to say, what's his name? Bra-
Who?
Barrick Dondarrion.
Okay.
The guy who wields the fire sword.
Mhm.
Because the thing
Who
was,
just throws it like it's nothing?
yeah, every time he dies, he always comes back to life, but he never knew why. And I guess and it kind of went full circle, because the Red Witch told Arya and the Hound that the reason why he's been kept alive was to help Arya, and that's why he
Mhm.
completely died on this episode, which is one of the main
Mhm.
deaths. And I'll take that. I'm satisfied with that death, and
Hmm.
that was pretty cool. Cause like he was holding off the dead and just getting stabbed. Like just like man, dude, this guy's just man, he doesn't die. I mean, he went out like a pretty decent badass.
Hmm. But yeah, so there's still a lot of things that could have gone better, but seeing as how there's only 3 episodes left, I'm kind of just taking it as is because we've went through so many seasons of just questioning what's going to happen. I just hope they don't do the same thing and just make the battle between Cersei and them another just one episode one off.
I feel like that's what it's gonna be. I think they're gonna tease the
Yeah.
battle all the way up to the last episode and do the big battle on the last episode. Kind of what I'm afraid of, but I feel like that's what's gonna happen.
Mm. Man, that's not gonna it's not gonna be good, but I mean,
I mean, we'll see. It really all depends on how they unveil it and how the writing goes. You know, and but
yeah.
from what I've seen here, they're top notch A1 with the directing. The battle scenes was amazing. The battle itself was like heart pumping. I was on the tip of my seat. I like I went off on certain scenes. Like, I was just like super like excited and surprised and everything. But you know, like I said, a little disappointed with the writing. Like
Hmm.
certain people surviving, and then also the people in the crypt. I didn't. You would think if you were stuck in a room full of dead people, more people would have died. But
Hmm.
it seemed like a lot of people survived that. You know.
Yeah, at most they maybe killed off 3 to 5 people.
hmm
I was expecting, like, even if they won, all of a sudden they go back to the crypt and everybody's dead.
Right. I
You
mean,
know?
also like uh you had this like kind of like weird scene. Well, I mean, it was a little touching. I was like kind of okay with it, but like still
Oh,
but then
you talk,
they went into
talking of
politics.
you talking about
Tyrion
the
and
one?
Sansa.
Yeah, in Sansa.
Yeah, they're like kind of like professing their love for each other. But then like they go into politics and like to me I'm just like, dude, you're in a moment where like dead people are about to come in and kill you and you're talking politics still? Like, come on, like get over it.
Hmm. Seriously, like that was already it was already awkward enough.
But I mean,
But when they
I kind of like the reason why I liked it was because it gave Tyrion a moment, and I felt like they haven't given Tyrion a moment in a long while.
Oh yeah, especially since all he's done is like right before a battle, because he knows he's not gonna be up there. He's just been drinking and drinking, and then all of a sudden, he actually says he wants to go. But man,
Well, the scene where they're like sitting there and then they both bring out a dagger. I thought they were gonna
mhm.
both go out and fight the dead like in the crypt, but
Seriously,
instead they really just like got up from that spot and went to hide in another spot. I was like,
seriously, why did they
what?
even? Ooh, that and also while watching that scene, I was so expecting like a hand to just bust out from right in between them.
Yes, yes. Because that's what should have happened. I don't know.
Hmm.
It was weird, but I'll tell you this. I mean, we've been doing a lot of bashing on the episode. I'll give it this: that weapon that Arya had Gendry built for her, badass. When I saw that in action, I was just like, "Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I see where she was going with this." It was like it was long enough to keep the dead far enough away from her, but strong enough to kind of like slice them all down and just watching her use it like the choreography of the fight scenes top notch. I mean like
Hmm.
I don't know why some of the action like shows on like from the US that are like filmed here in the US. I don't know why they don't pick up choreography like that because it's pretty amazing.
It's because out here, for some reason, the choreography that people do is more that they're trying to show off one person. I don't think they've yet completed and successfully understood what it's going to take to make huge battles like that. Because look at, you got Lord of the Rings, you got um, big movie fights, you got Braveheart and all these big movies. The only one that was close to maybe getting somewhere near that is probably Star Wars when they went to the um
Yeah. Well, see,
what's it called, the Coliseum fight.
yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm not really going to movies because movies they have a bigger budget and they're able to get it. Like,
Oh, so like TV.
yeah, like movies now have really good choreography, whereas movies in the past, then no, because I mean, like, you if you compare Mortal Kombat with like Avengers, you can see the
Mhm.
span of, like, of coming up on the fight choreography. It's gotten a lot better in movies. So I'm not dissing the movies. It's the TV shows. The TV shows
Mhm.
are like they're still lacking on the fight scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like when they have fight
There may
scenes,
be,
it looks kind of like clunky and
yeah,
fake.
there may there may be one reason why, which I think is kind of the big reason, is because the TV shows out here, they don't really have the budget and experience to keep doing it. But I feel like, the people that did Game of Thrones, big battles, that they know exactly how to do it. And I think people out here who do TV shows are afraid to kind of step out of their comfort zone, because if they do, that could be kind of the death of them, where
Mm,
like they'll get dropped from
the
their contracts just because they're not doing exactly what they wanted them to do or exactly what they're known for, which I could
mm,
see is kind of why.
well, I mean,
But
if
other
if
than
if
that,
if their fight scene was good enough, though, you'd think it'd bring up the ratings, and then because that's what really matters in the TV realm is ratings. You get enough ratings, you're gonna be on. It's
mhm.
it's all ratings. It's all how many eyes can they get to be watching this show. Okay, but okay, let's move along though. This death, I feel like it was total fan service, but I loved it. She went out like a G. You
Yeah.
you you, you kind of wondered why what happened because it started off pretty, like, okay, this is what a giant would do, but then out of
Mhm.
nowhere he does something like really weird that, he's a dead giant, why would he do that? But I'll gloss over that. I will, because just the scene itself was kind of amazing, and it brings it all back. HBO likes to torture kids.
Mhm.
But
Because
Liana
seriously,
Leanna went out like a G, taking out a giant, a dead walking giant. It was
I mean, I
crazy.
found it pretty good that the smallest of the fighters took out the biggest of the
Hmm.
evils. But I did understand that, like, why out of nowhere this guy that was just swinging
And
a club at
smashing.
everything,
Yeah, because, like, if you're a
he
dead
can
giant,
time.
that's what you would be doing. You walk in, you just keep on smashing, and, Hawk style. Why would he why
He's
would
not.
he pick up something? I don't know.
Everything they're doing is strategic from the Night King. Why would he sit there and, what's the word? Savor a death like that. It's not like them to do that.
The only thing I could think of to kind of make it work was that he was about to eat her, which kind of looked like what he was about to do, like he was about to eat her.
Hmm.
But the thing is, it doesn't follow the rules of the walkers. You never seen the walkers wanting to eat anything. All they were
Well,
all they were wanting to do
actually,
was kill things.
oh, well, they did have one scene that was kind of like that, where Sam was getting surrounded, and then he gets bit on the shoulder by one of the White Walkers.
I think that's only because, like, that's the only thing left that walker had to fight with. Like, if their arms
Yeah,
get
so
broken off, they just fight with their mouth. I don't know.
So still, this is something that has to do with the writers. They're just not thinking everything through.
But I mean, I mean, I'll let it go. I'm okay with it.
Mm,
Like it was pretty cool. Like the scene itself was pretty cool. The only and because it touched me. Like I was sad to see her go out like that. Like when you could see her like struggling to breathe because he was crushing, like the giant was crushing her with his hands, and
you
like
could
as
hear the audible
yeah, it was
crushing of
it
the.
yeah, it was crazy, man. And then when she dr- like drove that dragon stone straight into the giant's eyes, I was just like, yeah, you do that.
Mhm.
You don't mess with Leanna.
Yeah, but I did you also notice that this was the one episode where they didn't have a what's gonna happen next week?
No, they
Because they
did.
kind of just
They did. I
did
saw it.
they?
Uh huh. Yeah, I
I
watched it.
watched the whole thing and I didn't see anything.
It played after mine. I don't know if you were.
Hmm.
I don't know which service you were watching off of, but it played right after mine.
I was watching
Um,
on Hulu.
because what the preview showed was everyone rejoicing. Danny was like being praised. And it showed everyone, like it showed a scene where they were burning all the dead, and then it popped up to Cersei and the Golden Army, and Cersei
Hmm.
standing there with Euron. And
So
I think that was it. And you also get to see Ghost. So everyone out there who thinks Ghost is
okay.
dead, Ghost is not dead. He's still alive. He somehow survived.
So what's up? Doesn't Arya and Sansa also have two wolves?
Yeah, but they've been missing for a while now. I believe Arya's seen hers a few seasons ago, so they're still alive. I don't know about Sansa's, but I mean I believe so. I don't remember any of them being killed, but I know that Arya's wolf is still alive for sure.
Hmm. I expected to just at least see a couple more. I was really expecting the dragon of Daenerys to like fly up with all those walkers and then like fall to the ground dead after being stabbed so much. I did not expect it to just randomly show up afterwards.
Yeah, well, dude, I didn't. Oh, here's the thing too. Both dragons survived, which I thought,
Both?
yeah, yeah,
I
somehow
thought
I,
I thought
um,
John's died.
in the casting of the next episode, I want to say that they had him on view or on the list, so they're both still alive somehow. Because I mean, but in the scene though, it looked like he went down, but I don't know.
Yeah, but also when he was about to um like attack the white dragon, what was he gonna do? Yell at it to death?
Well, they bite each other in the neck. That's why I forget. Is it Viserion? I want to say. I don't know. I forget which one was the dead dragon, but that's why his throat. That's why when he's trying to blow out that blue fire, you can see the blue flame come out of his neck because they were
Mm,
both going for his neck, and I guess that's how dragons kill each other. Kind of like dinosaurs almost. you know, they go for the neck, or just like how any animal does, like lions and tigers. When they fight, they always go for the neck.
yeah. So yeah, it's just we really got to see what's gonna happen because
Wait, I think you.
drop it back down from 90
Hold
minutes.
on. Repeat it, cause you cut out.
Oh, I said I'm gonna be really pissed if they go back from turning it from like 90 minutes back down to what it was because
Oh,
we
totally.
only have 3 episodes left. At least
Yeah.
keep them 90
No, yeah,
minutes, you know?
yeah, I want the next 3 episodes to be 90 minutes for sure. They all have to be. I
Hmm.
mean, these are the ending episodes. You can't just make the battle episodes 90 minutes. That's not fair.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't have control over it, so we just have to wait and see what happens and what they decide to do with the timing of the shows.
Yeah. So
What else is there
all
though?
in all,
So yeah, so
let's
the
see.
survivors are Jamie, and I don't mind seeing Jamie surviving. Um, Gendry survives, Podrick survives, Brienne survives, the Hound has survived,
Hmm.
Daenerys, Sansa, Tyrion, Bran. Oh, Theon dying. What did you think about
Yeah.
that? Was that good enough? To
Oof.
me, I felt like it was good.
I
To me, it felt like it was good enough, and it it redeemed him. Like that was his redemption story. I felt like it redeemed him.
I do feel like it did kind of redeem him, considering that his uh the last thing he said was, like, you're a good man, and also
Yeah,
that being
exactly.
there is, everything that he's done kind of brought him to where he is right
Hmm.
now. So he kind of accepted where he was going to be.
Yeah.
But I what I had an actual problem with the people he was with to protect Bran,
Well, they're all
because
red shirts.
no, I know, but I was like, dude, you only have like what, a 30-40 span of ground between you and the trees. Why do all of you have bow and arrows?
That is true. It is kind of weird. I'm guessing they were thinking about maybe they were gonna have a more farther fight, and they probably thought that because the dragons were supposed to actually come in and help them. That's why they
Hmm.
they were not planning on having a hand-to-hand battle combat like they did. The dragons, Danny and John were supposed to actually come in and kill the Night King, and that was the plan. And that's the other question I have is how do you feel about them taking away the kill from John and Danny and giving it to Arya?
Hmm.
I'm a little bit
Uh,
okay. I'm a little bit okay with it, but I feel like they have to give us a little bit more of a story with John and Danny.
hmm. All I gotta say is the guy who played the Night King the most money for doing the least amount on set,
Hmm.
because he was there from the beginning, but in that one episode he has had the most screen time that he has had in the entire season, or the
Hmm.
entire show altogether. But yeah, I mean, moving it to Arya, I think was fine. It's just they do have to consider maybe clearing it up how the hell she got all the way over there from the castle when they
Well,
were behind
you know,
locked doors.
well
She had to sneak around the library just to not get noticed.
that part I'm not even really questioning because I mean she's had training, and I guess this is showing everyone like this is where her training comes from. It's the getting through the
Yeah, there
line.
was getting through that line. There were so many of them. Not to
Yeah,
mention, you would think that the his couple of commanders or the high ranking
would have heard.
walkers would have seen or heard, or at least have some skill close to
The,
him.
the the thing is, I would it would have been cooler if like instead of her just jumping out of nowhere, they were panning through the faces of the White Walkers, and then you see one. It stops at one, and they pull off the face, and it's Arya, and then she jumps. That would
Hmm.
have that would have worked. I would have believed that.
Because seriously, they could have done a lot more. But once again, this is going back to the writing of it could have been done a little better.
Hmm.
But other than that, I was seriously expecting her to have done something with the faces and the White Walkers.
Yeah, because she's supposed to play the game of faces. That she's the no one. Like
Hmm.
that's what her
I hope
skills are. But
I'm going to be so mad if by the end of the second fight that they're going to have with Cersei, that if she doesn't use that for their advantage, or Bran doesn't do something with his power, there's going to be a lot of lost
yeah,
potential for what's going to happen.
here's where I could forgive what Bran did. If all that time when he was uh gosh, I forgot what the name is called, wigging or woging, I forgot something like that. But when he transferred his mind into the crows, I'm hoping he went to go see what the north, or not the north, the south was doing. I hope he sent those crows to the south to King's Landing to see what Cersei was up to. If he did that and he has information to give on the next episode, I will forgive him for sitting there and doing nothing for the whole 90 minutes.
Hmm.
But once again, we're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, okay. So
A whole nother week.
um, Deathless is Melisandre, which is the Red Witch. Um,
Hmm.
Beric, Beric Dondarris. Yeah, Beric Dondarris died. Um, Danny's right hand man, Jorah, also died.
Hmm.
And then Ed. My God, dude, I don't. Okay, I felt like they cheated Ed out of this episode. He was part of the Night Watch. He was John's like one of John's best friend, and because he helped out Sam, boom, Dunzos. Like I don't know if I like that. you know?
You know, the only way I'm gonna give for surviving would have been to keep him alive because that was the only way. Yeah, Sam killed maybe one or two, but he there's no way that all of those other people who have trained to fight didn't survive. Sam survived.
Yeah.
And I was gonna give that to Ed, but he died like right there.
Like
So
he was like the first one to go right after the
yeah.
Dothrakis. Yeah. And I was like, what? And well, here's the thing. When I first saw that, I was like, okay, we're on the right path. Like this is going where I think this is going. They're gonna kill off a lot of like characters, and this is how I thought this episode was gonna go. But then but then it like took forever for anyone else to die. And then,
Hmm.
I don't know, but yeah, I was at the end of it though. I was like, because so many other people survived, I was a little bit peed off that they killed off Ed so quickly in the beginning like that. I was like, dude,
Hmm.
that's a night watch. Like he was a more trained night watchman than Sam was, and he just got like stabbed in the back. Like I was like, dang.
And also, there's so much going on. Mostly everybody died except for some of the main characters.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that the only reason they're keeping most of them around is for the next fight
Yeah.
because
Well,
they
it's
can
it's
they
definitely
can
gonna
come
be the
back from
best. Yeah,
this.
it's gonna definitely be the next fight for sure.
Yeah, they can come back from this if like something happens.
And that, I
If
think that's where the writers were going with it. Like how because Danny's most of like dude, like I want to say like 70% of Danny's army is gone, and the only
Mhm.
only leftovers are mainly like the useless northern folks that were hiding, and
A couple
and a
Dothrakis
small, yeah,
probably.
a small percentage of the people who can fight survive. So really, the North and Danny has no army now, like little to no
And
army.
two two messed up dragons
Yeah,
who probably aren't going to
two
be
messed
ready
up
for another
dragons,
fight.
and now they're gonna have to call on the Greyjoys to come help too, because I mean they have to, right? Like they need an army. And Cersei
Yeah.
has all the firepower now. She's I don't know if you guys remember, but in the season before, she had one of the people that at King's Landing, she was having them build her giant spear guns. So she has a bunch of giant spear guns
Hmm.
for the dragons, which now the dragons are like kind of almost useless because they're all injured, right?
Hmm.
So my predictions and my speculations and what we want to see, or what I want to see happen next, is I want to see some of the dire wolves come back. They have to
Hmm.
bring them back somehow, and that's gonna be like part of the army, right? The Greyjoys
Has to.
have to come and help now. They can't just sit and hide anymore. They have to come and help. And then yeah,
They're gonna have to gloss over or at least get to, you know, they just right before the fight, one of the biggest bombshells of them talking about him actually being a Targaryen. So they're gonna have to get to that too.
yeah.
But
But I mean,
they
we
only
could.
have 3 episodes.
I feel like they're gonna do that in this next episode somehow. I mean, because they won, and now like Danny's gonna be like, so what do we do now? Like, and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna hash it out somehow. So I hope that gets. But I hope the thing is, I hope they don't drag out that conversation. Make it quick.
Hmm.
I want John to say like, look, I don't even want the throne. You know, I just want to help my people. And now that the dead is gone, like, yeah, let's just help the people. We just got one thing we got to do is stop Cersei and get the throne back to to whoever wants it. And right now, I feel like it's gonna be a battle between Dany and Sansa. Those are the two that's gonna butt heads.
And even so, I think it's going to be um, Annie is going to get most of the praise when she's not deserving of it because she really didn't do anything.
I don't know. I kind of disagree a little bit with that because while John was like flying around looking for the Night King, she was the one laying down ground fire with her dragon. Like
True.
if you go back and watch it, John's dragon did not throw down any fire at all. I think he came down maybe once to help throw down fire, but it was mostly Danny throwing down fire.
Either way,
And not just that, it was her, it was mainly her army,
mhm,
the Unsullies that did most of the fighting in the forefront, which is another weird thing is like, why are you guys fighting in front of the pits? You know, like why don't they
mhm.
funnel the dead through a small funnel and kind of be a little bit easier to fight him off, you know, one by one coming through a small opening.
Once again, going back to the writing, they could have
Yep.
done so many strategic things, and there are so many smart people on that
Yeah.
team that they could have come up with something.
And the only reason why I even bring that up is because I like I you kind of know that from if you ever watched the movie 300. That's what they did. They funneled
Mhm.
the enemies through a small uh tunnel way,
Like,
you know, and took out a
wasn't it
big
like
gigantic army,
between?
you know, with
Wasn't it
just
like
300
between
people.
two mountains?
Yeah, they funneled the enemy through two big mountains and took them out one by one. Like, you know.
Hmm.
I was like, the thing was, when I was watching it, I was thinking 300 the whole time. I was
Hmm.
like, why don't they do that? I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah. So I
writing.
mean, when it comes to the speculation, just I hope they do something because right now I'm at a blank of what can happen because all of my speculations went to what the battle was going to be like. But now that it's already over, I kind of have nothing. But other than that, seriously, just I am giving all of my hope into the writers that they know what they're doing because
Well,
they still have another battle to go through.
they better pull it off. And you know what? I really don't mind it if they just keep on bringing on really badass directors to make sure that the battle scenes are awesome, because that's why I'm still okay with this episode. I'm okay with this episode is because the directing was so good. The only qualms I have about it is I wish they gave the scene a little bit more moonlight, only because a lot of the stuff happened in like pitch darkness and it was a little hard to follow who was fighting who in certain scenes. But
Hmm.
other than that, once they like kind of brighten up the scene, like when Arya was running through the library and the fight scene there, when uh, you know, when the fire was lit and everyone was fighting near the fire, it was amazing. Like the scene was awesome. The only parts is the dark parts where you couldn't really figure out what was what. But other than that, the directing was amazing. So as long as they keep on bringing on dope directors, I will forgive the, you know, kind of lacking in the writing department.
Hmm. And I'll say this too. If you saw my Facebook post, I actually even said if you're gonna watch the new Game of Thrones, just turn your contrast
Yeah.
way up.
Dude, I agree with that when I saw you post that. I was like, "Oh my God." Like some of the stuff I was like, "Oh, like cuz it went from like okay, it went from like kind of like a well-lit scene and you're like, "Oh my God, oh snap. Oh man, this is amazing." And then like all of a sudden like darkness
Hmm.
and you're like, "Wait, what's going on? What who's that? Wait, what?" You know, like was that someone important? I don't know.
It was just it was kind of unbearable to watch. Like all you had to do was just stare, and you couldn't even tell what was going on. You and
Yeah.
I don't even know how. Even if I don't even know how you don't accidentally like just end up slicing up five of your own members.
Like it would have been cooler if they had like maybe done it like under a full moon, you know, because
Hmm.
then it'd still be night. You know, the White Walkers could still, you know, be running and scary, but you know, under a full moon, everything's bright and you can see what's going on.
I thought it would
That
have
would have
been
been
cooler
badass. That would have been more
if like
badass.
oh yeah, if it would have also been cool if I thought it if the Night King came through and you know how he brings the winter and the snow and
Hmm.
the frost with him, if all of it just kind of turned white and all you saw were just blue eyes coming at you.
Mm, yeah.
But yeah, just
Uh,
I
one,
hope they don't do that again.
one more thing though, amazing scene. Even though I felt like it was a little bit too fast, but when the Dothrakis ran up to the White Walkers with their flaming swords, and one by one, you see the flames just disappear. Like
Hmm.
that was a pretty cool, epic shot. I was like, oh man,
I
you
don't.
because you felt the danger. You felt like, oh man, like dude, they went up there with burning swords and they're just disappearing one by one.
Mhm.
It was like really
I don't.
ominous.
They dragged out that one scene a little too much with like two or three of the Dothrakis running back, and they like made eye contact with a couple people. They kind of dragged that out a little bit. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
think
it's
like even
it's
afterwards I watched.
I think I was just building up the fear, you know, just like
Mhm.
it just because like you kind of have to dial up
Hmm.
the fear and show how scared everyone is, but then you gotta like show how, when everyone kind of is like, all right, this is it, we got to do it, because that's when Tormund it might have been Tormund, I forget, but someone just like yelled and get ready for fighting, and then they got ready for fighting.
Hmm.
So I mean,
But yeah,
yeah,
all of it.
that
We just got to see what's gonna happen.
Yep. And then that brings us kind of to the end. We might have not gone through a lot of everything, but that's just mainly our feelings on it. I mean, if like this is an amazing episode, amazing battle. I still think the Battle of the Bastards was much better. There hasn't been a battle scene that surpassed that one for me. But
But also,
even last season with the dragon battle where the dragons came in and annihilated everybody, like that was still that tops this battle too, but it's still a good episode. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'd give this one a 7. um
yeah, I'm kind of there with you. I'll probably
yeah,
give it a 7.
yeah. So any last ending words before we end this episode? Nothing.
Contrast,
Contrast.
contrast, white balance,
Well,
dude.
I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that now, because I'm pretty sure the next few battles are gonna be during the daytime.
I really, really hope so.
But yeah. So that is our feelings. That is what we thought about
Hmm.
episode 3 of season 8. Once again, all of our stuff is in the bottom in the comments. Leave us comments if you want. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. And I'm hoping for the best for the last 3 episodes.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Oh yeah.
Cause
With that said, much love to everybody. We will see
mhm.
y'all laters.